Hi, hello, and welcome to The Swamp. It's our podcast, and it's also an acronym.
Stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
And this week we are continuing with Pride Month, Gay Awakening, Queer Sexual Awakening, and this was my pick this week. We did Pirates of the Caribbean for Keira Knightley last week, obviously, to kick things off. And so this week, I kind of struggled as to which one what I was gonna pick, but I wanted to choose this movie, Atlantis. We're covering the 2001, I think? 2001 Disney animated adventure film Atlantis. And I kind of wanted to pick this as an umbrella choice to kind of capture all of those Disney movies that didn't really have songs in them, but were kind of horny. And I feel like there's a whole bunch of them. It's Anastasia, Road to El Dorado, Treasure Planet, Sinbad. I feel like late 90s, early 2000s, kind of horny, made everyone a little fruity.
Here's
Disney movies.
So we were talking a little bit before we started this, and I don't think I'd ever seen any of those ones that you just rattled off, except for Sinbad, and that's it.
That's wild. That's wild to me.
It's one of those, I've seen this movie, I've seen Atlantis, but I didn't remember, It probably took 30 minutes in until I got to a part where I remembered. Yeah.
Which is wild to me. I think Treasure Planet was one of
Never
my go-tos as a
I probably
kid.
have, actually, but it's one of those things I could not tell you.
Wow. And it's always they were the Disney movies or the not Disney but we're clearly trying to get on the bandwagon
kind of thing.
Yeah, get on the bandwagon of Disney and but they don't really have music in them and they're more action adventure focused, and I don't know, I really liked that kind of movie when I was a kid. But why are they always, everyone's just in loincloths?
Oh, I love it. It is
horny.
This is a horny movie. This is I'm glad that you chose a animated movie, because I do feel a lot of people's sexual awakenings were cartoons.
Right, I feel mine were very TV show oriented.
Yeah, we talked about this because you had, like you said, you struggled a little bit picking what you wanted this week because you rattled off what was it? The Hannah Montana movie, iCarly. I'm sure there's so many others where those came from.
But it was way less about the actual piece of media and way more about the gross fan fiction I read afterwards about it. So I just didn't quite fit, but we did ask on Instagram for people to write in, and some really freaking good ones, but a couple of people said Prince of Egypt, Road to El Dorado,
Prince
Anastasia.
of Egypt, for sure.
Those movies, so I wanted to pick this one to kind of umbrella capture that whole genre, but also shouts out to the two people who said the animated Barbie movies. One person specifically said Barbie A Mermaid's Tale, and the other one said Barbie Diamond Castle, and I'm if it was that early, you were in for it.
I was gonna say, mine would have been, oh my god, what was it? It was the one, the Barbie one, there's two little lady Barbies or whatever, and they've got, what is it? The song, they've got the little song.
I'm just like you. You're just like
You're just
me.
like me.
Yeah. That's, I think that's Prince and the Pauper, I think
so. I was gonna say that, but I was that feels so, not right, but.
No. Barbie Nutcracker was mine, and I really liked...
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
There was one scene where there's a giant made out of rocks, and he steps on a basket of apples, and it made this really nice sound. And
that was my sexual awakening, was the apples crunching.
That's a whole can of worms.
That's whatever that is. What is it? What is it you have where you want to put inanimate objects in your mouth or whatever?
Oh, pica?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to talk about people who have squishing fetishes.
Oh, no. I mean, I know there's a fetish for everything, but
yeah.
You just connected two spark plugs in my brain. I didn't realize that was a thing.
Specifically, there's a really niche kind of video online of women's feet stepping on something that can like a cake, and then the cake goes through your toes, and that's a very specific kind of fetish that the foot fetish is called squishing. I don't know. Specific.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you figure out that that's your fetish? You know what I mean? Like
you watch Barbie Nutcracker and you see him step on those apples and you're like, that unlocked something in my brain.
You're like 5 years old and you're like, why am I tingling? But anyways, no, the Barbie movies were a good one. There was a handful of really good.
And then somebody said Schindler's List, and either I hope you were joking or I hope
they were
you're
joking.
in therapy.
I know who that is. They were joking.
Oh. Okay, good, because I was like, that's a lot to unpack. But yeah, a lot of really good answers from all of you, and a couple who have said movies that we plan on covering. So
just you wait.
It's good to know we're all on the same page here.
Exactly. I felt really seen reading all of your answers,
and also kind of old, like
a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
What ones made you feel old?
Stuff that came out like not that long ago, and I was like, oh, that was your sexual awakening? Like, that's, or maybe you're just like a late bloomer or something. I don't know. Like somebody said like Rey from the Star Wars movies, and I'm like, damn, I was like fully like in college when those came out.
I had my sexual reawakening when
the force the force sexually reawakens.
Yeah.
Is there something there?
But anyways, we're not here to talk about that today. We're here to talk about Atlantis.
Atlantis. And
this is, I'll tell you,
this movie's horny.
This movie's horny. I'll tell you what, that this movie is like a bisexual's dream. Like a skinny little nerd man and an absolute goddess as like the two main figures. Like, tell me I'm wrong.
Right? That's like every bisexual couple on TikTok, and it's just like, he looks like the rat from Flushed Away.
And she's the hottest girl you've ever seen her in your life.
Right? Yeah, I do think this movie was probably really formative for a lot of people's type preferences.
Well, there's every single type you could ever want.
Yeah, that's true.
You know who did it for me?
Variety.
You know who did it for me this watch? Vinny.
Helga. Vinny with the bowl cut.
For sure, Helga, obviously. That wasn't did it for me this round. That was did it for me when I was like 10. When some things don't change.
Her tank top strap is like always sliding down.
I'm like, Helga, you're making me blush.
Like, this movie is for kids. Oh.
I know, the loincloth, like, right up to the hip bones.
Yeah.
I was sitting there, I was like, oh my god. Oh. There's, like, a scene where, oh gosh, what's her name? The main character, the
Kita?
Atlantean. Kita? Yeah, where she's, like, stripping to go, like, swimming or whatever, and Milo starts freaking out. I was like, dog, I'm right there with you. My heart's speeding up.
He says, I can swim, pretty girl, pretty good, and I literally choked on what I was drinking, because I was like, yeah, me too. Like, yeah, me too, buddy.
But if you haven't seen this movie, please watch it, because it does feel like one of those, I don't want to say hidden gems, but it is a gem of a movie that I feel like people forget.
Yeah, I think it really got, like, this kind of genre of, like, Disney and just otherwise animated movie really got overshadowed by, I think they really hit, I think people call it the Disney Renaissance, like, right after with, like, Mulan.
Yeah.
And, like, kind of all those, like, I think really childhood defining for me, so these kind of get, like, lost in the sauce a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
But, like, I mean, they are really standouts to me, but I think maybe not so much for our, like, whole generation. Like, everyone has seen The Lion King. Everyone our age has seen The Lion King and has a childhood connection with the movie The Lion King. That's just, like, not really the same thing for, like, Treasure Planet or Atlantis or those, I don't know, kind of maybe more fringe, more action-adventure kids movies.
Yeah.
But I don't know, they were my faves growing up, so.
Do we want to give a recap for the handful of you that may have not seen?
Yeah, so our protagonist is named Milo, and he works at the Smithsonian Institute, and he's a linguist. And basically, he's making this big pitch that he wants to travel to Iceland to find this journal, which he believes has sort of the information that will get them to Atlantis, the lost city of Atlantis. And the people at the museum who he's making the pitch to, they think it's kind of a joke, and they're like, we're not gonna fund your stupid, like, trip. It's not a real place. You need to let it go. you're a kook and your grandfather was a kook, which we then learn that Milo's grandfather was also like an adventurer, explorer guy who was looking for Atlantis. And so then he's like, fine, then I give up, I quit. And then he gets home and freaking Helga with her little, her camisole that just cannot stay up. She is like, I have just the solution for you. And she brings him to this eccentric billionaire's mansion, who I guess had been friends with Milo's grandfather. And he was like, if we ever find the book, I'll fund the trip. And he had already gone to Iceland and Iceland? Was it Iceland?
Yeah, it was Iceland.
Yeah. And they had found the book, and so he was like, but we just need, a linguist to read the information in the book in this dead language. And Milo's like, oh my god, that's my whole steez. I am so down. And so they get on this submarine with a crew of like 200 people, and then they go down into the ocean, and immediately everyone dies. Everyone dies within minutes. They have to abandon the submarine. Trillions of dollars worth of World War I is coming up, and they could have won so much with this kind of technology, that so much destruction could have been prevented if this eccentric billionaire had just decided to, like, what? But so
this is like Elon Musk saying like he'll end like homelessness if he's given the tools to, and then just not. Like, this guy fully, like, World War I would have been over before it started. But anyways, yeah, like, 200 people die, there's, like, a crew of, 20 left, or something like that?
Yeah.
And it's like,
basically everyone who, like, has a name.
Yeah. It's like your main cast of characters. It's like the mechanic and the engineer and the cook and the translator and, like, all that shit, you know what I mean? It's like a little the little ragtag bunch.
The little ragtag crew who just happened to not die. Yeah, so like literally 150 people perished. And they're just like, well, huge bummer, but we're just gonna continue.
The show must go on.
Searching for Atlantis. And so they continue, and they find like this tunnel that leads them to Atlantis. I'm not really missing anything, right? They just get to Atlantis, basically.
Yeah, they get there.
And basically we're starting to pick up on notes of that there's an ulterior motive at hand here, which I'm gonna say, in Milo's original pitch as to why he should get funded for this, was that he wants to find Atlantis so that he can find this energy source, because apparently all of Atlantis is fueled by this one great energy source that is better than any energy source we have here on Earth, basically. Mm-hmm. Or not on Earth, just like not in Atlantis.
Yeah, in general.
So he knows this. Mm-hmm. But the military guy, Rourke, who's like running the operation, him and Helga clearly have like a little bit of a, they're really trying to frack, basically. And so then they get to Atlantis, and it turns out there's people, and that there's a whole society, and they were like, oh my god, we didn't even realize that there were gonna be people, because now this kind of throws a wrench into our plans, because we were just gonna show up, frack, and then leave. But now we have to, like, do a genocide as well.
Oh god, don't you hate when genocide gets thrown into your plans?
But so basically they kind of get settled in, and Milo and Kida immediately kind of hit it off, and they're kind of exchanging things about their cultures with one another, and they're asking each other questions. Mm-hmm. And
they're catching a bit of a vibe.
And her mother had been, like, sucked up into the energy source light when she was a kid, because apparently you need royal blood to fuel the blue battery that is the Atlantean life force. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Something. But then basically the whole thing kind of comes crashing down, and they're like, and then she gets sucked up into the blue light, and she becomes a battery, and they're like, we're taking her back, we're taking her to the surface, and then everyone's like, no, don't do it, and then basically everyone but Milo on the crew is like, we're in it for the money, #we love to frack, and then they leave, But then they're like, no, just kidding. And so they all, except for Helga and Rourke, they are like, fuck it, we're leaving. And they go and they blow up the bridge and they leave everyone to die. And then Milo's like, I'm gonna white savior the shit out of this conundrum. And then he like teaches all the Atlanteans how to like ride their own motorcycle things. And then they all do a little uprising and they get her back. And then
Rourke dies.
Rourke dies. His face is getting really feral at this point, so you really know he's a bad guy. And then everything is, they fix it, it's great, and they're all really rich, and they go back, but Milo stays, because he has to teach everyone how to read, because he's the only one.
Stop, you're so true that this is a white savior movie.
Oh my god, it's so, like, literally, I don't think I've watched this movie in maybe, like, 5-8 years, something, like, it's been a while, and I was just watching it, and I was like, yeah, you really had me up until the white savior
You white savior
moment.
the
And I was
fuck
like,
out of this.
Oh, yeah, this movie's not as good as I remember it had been being. I always, growing up, I loved the, like, quirky cast of characters, and I loved the animation style.
Same.
I think each person, everybody moves very, like, interestingly. I like the way it's drawn. I love everything is really blue. All the landscapes I think are so pretty. But yeah, and then I was like, oh, this is like huge white savior moment, and especially at the end where he's like, no, I'm gonna stay, teach the people to read. I'm like, oh, Milo, you're staying for that. You're staying for that ass. We know it.
Yeah,
that
come on now.
Ass.
You have ulterior motives here. No, I did really love the animation style, and that's one thing that I feel like before the Disney Renaissance that you were talking about, like, that animation style was, like, the thing. Like, thinking about, like, this jump, like, from what we have here with Atlantis and, like, Sinbad and Prince of Egypt and all that stuff, the jump from, like, that to Mulan feels, like, dramatic. Huge, I love I love the, like, really blocky characters and, like, the sharp edges on everything and stuff like that. I don't know, something about it, like, is very, I don't know, for me, that, like, is one thing that sticks out in my childhood, is, like, the animation style, almost.
I almost like the inconsistent art style. I like that every character looks almost like they were drawn by a different person.
Yeah.
Like everyone got, like, a vague, you know, like, a point of reference, and then just drew
the
character that they would animate.
It's giving me inside decor of a Cheesecake Factory. You know what I mean? Like, everything, like, every part of it is super different, but, like, also, like, for some reason,
the vibe, immaculate.
Exactly. It works. Comes together. I'm not mad. I'm still having a great time.
Why is the lighting so dim? Why is the Eye of Sauron above me while I read my 57-page menu that has the calories next to everything, even though I don't want to see that. I know that if there's a ball of fried cheese on my hamburger, that's probably not the best for me.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me it's 15,000 calories. I don't want to know.
You know how many different foods from different cultures are on that menu? 100.
All of them?
Every single one.
All of them.
They have, like, artifacts, like, that they, like, excavated from, like, Egypt. Like, they're in it with, like, what is it, Hobby Lobby? Like, Hobby Lobby sold them some of, like, those, like, you know the whole big, like, scandal. Yeah. Like, Hobby Lobby and, Cheesecake Factory they were in cahoots. That's why it looks like that. They had to, like, store it somewhere. They're like, Cheesecake, do you want this?
Yeah, right, oh my god. When they funnel the stolen Iranian artifacts from Hobby Lobby into the lobby of a Cheesecake Factory, they're like, no one will ever know. No one will ever know.
They've got the elaborate tunnel systems like they do in this movie. I'll tell you what, though, the other thing that this reminds me of, when Kita becomes a battery and gets sucked up into the light force type thing, it, like, gave me, like, super big, Avatar The Last Airbender vibes. Like, you know when Sokka's girlfriend becomes the moon?
Gets turned into the moon?
Same thing.
I was just about to say, Sokka, your girlfriend got turned into the moon. Yeah, Milo's girlfriend got turned into a fucking battery. So...
She's just a generator.
It's very that. Just like whirring.
Yeah, she's not like glowing blue or anything like that. She's just a hunk of metal. Comes crashing down.
You have to put her in the freezer. Don't people put their batteries in the freezer for some reason? That's a thing, right?
I don't know. Do they? Reach out to us if you put your batteries in the freezer.
Ignore me.
They looked like they put her in a freezer, whatever that big capsule was.
Yeah.
You could have told me that was a freezer. And then she turned Rourke all fucking icy blue. Maybe she was being froze? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, who can say? Frozen. What about it for you felt like a queer sexual awakening? Who was it? Kita?
It was like Milo and Kita are
right?
like that's the blueprint. Like that's the prototype for everything to follow. But also everyone in this movie is so hot.
Yeah.
Helga, that opening scene with her little strap, hot. The doctor, hot.
Even Rourke.
Kind of hot. The mechanic, hot. They're all
Everyone's hot.
They all just
I'd still
tick a different kind of little box.
I'd smash the king. Kita's dad? What fuck?
Hot.
Yeah. I bet he likes having his hair pulled. Like, come on.
With those milky eyeballs.
That's fine. I'm not worried.
Yeah. But just like when she showed up with her little choppy, uneven bangs, her funky little mullet-esque haircut, and her enormous thighs sticking out of the side of that loincloth, that wasn't supposed to make me feel some type of way. No.
Bro, it holds up today. Still. And I gotta give it to Milo. Milo's ticking all the boxes too. It's the glasses.
The huge glasses. Yeah. And the like angular jawline that could like... And the fact that he's like a gangly.
What is it about the gangly men? I don't understand. Like, I know that there's like so much appeal. I don't understand.
It's something that like I want to be able to break your femur if I have to.
Yeah, no. All the gangly men out there right now, you're really having, like, you came at the right time. I feel like this is a very, like, 2010s, like, not resurgence, because I don't know if there was ever a gangly man phase in history. But I'm like, now's your time to shine, you know what I mean?
But if I had $1 for every time in my life I have seen that fan edit of the quote-unquote live-action Atlantis with fucking Zendaya and Tom Holland, I'd have $18 million.
I've never seen that. You'll have to send it. Really? No, I swear to God.
It was huge. I think it probably originated on Tumblr, would be my guess, back when they first started doing the Disney remakes. Everyone's like, why are you remaking these like classics? You should be doing live action remakes of like the adventure movies. Like a fucking live action Atlantis would be sick, which I don't really think it needs to be remade, but I'm like, a live action Atlantis makes more sense than a live action Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
I don't know.
Visually, I think it'd be beautiful. Like,
right? But there's this fan cast basically, and it's Tom Holland as Milo and Zendaya as Kita, and it's this fake mock-up poster, and literally I feel like every 6 months it like resurges on my Instagram of like, I'm like, why are people still fucking talking about this? Like, no,
I've never seen that, but also at the same time, that just like hearing that just makes me think I'm like about how like people only know like one light-skinned actress and it's Zendaya, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, respectfully, but like
yikes.
Like, am I wrong? I'm like, I get it, they're a sexy couple, but come on.
But this was long before. This was
really?
Probably when like the first Spider-Man movie came. Oh yeah, like this was a long time ago that this originated, and I think people still fucking talk about it now. But it was from long before.
Yeah. No,
but it's stupid. But it's like, yeah, it checks out.
Yeah, no, you're so right though. They should be remaking like the action adventure films because there's so many of them. Also, for me, what I really liked about these as a kid was they were like the sort of like, I don't want to say historical ones, but like these are the movies that like if you read Percy Jackson as a kid, like you're gonna fuck with, you know what I mean? Like the sort of like mythological, like ancient times sort of shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which like I was like, I feel like
for sure
every kid had this. You always like had like that phase where you were like into like Egyptology lore.
Yeah, just
any lore.
Just anything with lore.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I had like the King Tut book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Those eyewitness books, I had all the pictures.
I loved them.
Of like all the different artifacts. Yes.
I love that.
Henry had one about spies, and there was a section about how if you were a spy, you could take a piano wire and you could roll it up in a condom and then put the condom on so that you could then, in a moment's notice, pull off your condom and pull out your piano wire and kill a man. And this was in one of those, like, eyewitness books that were kind of for kids. And he's like, yeah, that just, like, really stuck with me. Because there was just this whole section about how you can, like, but it's not like, oh, put a piano wire rolled up, like, in your pocket. Or, like, in a
put it around your dick.
Put it in a condom. Put it in a condom on your dick.
That's amazing. No, I really liked the gemstone ones and like the minerals ones. Those ones really did it for me. But also I remember our library having a Star Wars one. That did a lot. I'm sure you talk to Henry about it. I'm sure he probably was in on that one.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, just the books where it would be like one page is dedicated to one character, and then it has like the breakdown of like everything about them kind of thing.
Oh yeah, my god, sure. So formative.
But speaking of like someone who loves lore, apparently Milo is balls deep obsessed with Atlantis, Atlantean culture. He knows the language. He's been reading up on this since he was a child. This is his whole thing. And while they're venturing through the tunnel, like before they get there, they're venturing through this long tunnel and there are ruins everywhere. Columns, dilapidated buildings. This man does not bat an eye. This man is not, nobody is taking notice of any of this. And I'm like, these are like monumental historical artifacts. And nobody is documenting any of this. Let's take some samples. Let's try to figure out what's going on here. No, we're just gonna keep traveling.
They're blowing it up. They're fully blowing up these. Yep. Like columns are being crumpled by Vinny. Nothing. Milo, yeah, like you said, Milo does not even seem close to bothered.
He's just like reading his little stupid book, and I'm like, bro, look up, look around you.
You're missing everything.
This is the gig. Like this is the thing that you've been right. So that just did not quite check out for me.
Yeah.
Was that little part. I was gonna say, also, when she says her, like, full name, and then he's like, and then he mispronounces it, and then he's like, you got a nickname? I'm like, you're a fucking linguist of this dead language. You're the only fucking person in the planet who can read and speak this dead language, and you can't pronounce her name right?
For real.
Milo's a fake and a fraud. He doesn't care about the artifacts, and he can't even say words right.
Yeah. He's just there for some Atlantean ass. I see right through him.
Stunning, amazing, perfect, beautiful. We're back at it again with my wonderful, lovely mother, Jen. She comes in, floats down from the sky, hosts a segment called Chocolate or Vanilla. It's a game that she invented to shut my brother and I up in the car when we were children. She just says two things, and we just all say which one we like better. It's a really fun time. Jen, how are you today?
Yeah. I'm really good. You guys are good too?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am sick with the coronavirus, so that is one thing that's not so hot about my week, but we're persisting.
This I know, because I am testing every day, hoping that I didn't catch it from
you. But thank you, as always, for being here. Is there a theme this week?
There is a theme this week. It is Disney. I am super psyched that you guys did something Disney, because you don't do a lot of Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now 2 weeks in a row. We
are pretty averse to the mouse on this pod. And yeah, I think when we do Disney, it's usually not like, and we don't really go through the animated classics a lot, because honestly, I don't really think I have much to say that like other people haven't already said more intelligently than myself. Like, there's a lot of really great podcasts out there about Disney movies, and this just like isn't really one of them. But
yeah,
gotta do Atlantis this week. But
yeah, so I figured I would jump on this chance to do Disney. Can I plug a podcast?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I plug a podcast? So I listened to this one called Disorder by these three guys who worked for Disney, and they review every animated feature like in order.
Oh wow.
And and they talk for like 3 to 4 hours about each movie.
Oh my goodness.
They do a deep dive. It's really good. I think it's really good.
Yeah, let's check it out. That sounds sick.
And Jen, I don't mean to expose you out here, but you are a Disney adult, which you went to Disney World without children. You went.
I did.
You and my father, Gary. You went to Disney as adults with no other purpose other than doing it for your own enjoyment, which I think is by definition makes you a Disney adult. And I just wanted
I had a blast.
I just wanted to let everyone know. Yeah, everyone know where we're at as a family as far as your stance.
Yeah. We like played golf on a golf course with like Mickey shaped sand traps, and we drank our way around Epcot. It was a blast.
That's how that's how you gotta do it. If you're gonna go to Disney, you gotta be boozing.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe that's why it was so much fun. All right. Anyway, though, chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Chocolate. Chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry?
Chocolate.
I'll stick with vanilla this week.
I'll go strawberry then. Just for fun. All right, first one is Milo Thatch or Jim Hawkins.
Oh, this is so hard because I was just ranting and raving about how, like, this sort of era of action-adventure Disney animated movie was, like, really my shit as a kid. And I love both of these characters. I also love... So, did you know that Milo is voiced by...
Michael J. Fox.
Frickin'... Michael J. Fox, and then, what's his name? From Treasure Planet.
Oh, it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So, two very, like, iconic voice acting moments, but I am gonna have to go with Milo on this one, just because, like I said, he is the blueprint, he is the moment, and he is the one for me. But Jim Hawkins also pretty fire, so tough one there.
Yeah. Dara and I have been over this, though, and I can't tell you if I ever watched Treasure Planet or not, so I'll go with Milo.
You need to watch Treasure Planet.
I know.
I'm going to take Jim Hawkins because I love Treasure Planet. It's one of my favorites. Next one is Moana or Mulan?
Again, so hard because those are two really, really iconic good ones. But Mulan, I think, is like my OG fave Disney movie.
Yeah.
Like, for as long as I can remember, that was the one that I was like, this is impeccable, flawless, no notes. Like, could watch again and again with no tiring. Like, I love Mulan.
Yeah, I think Moana will be that for a lot of people that are growing up now. But, like, yeah, exactly. For us, it's Mulan. No question.
Same. I this is a hard choice, but I would definitely take Mulan. Lilo or Stitch?
Oh, Stitch. Stitch is the catalyst for the whole story. Nothing happens without Stitch.
I love Lilo. I'm gonna go with Lilo. She's, like, such, like, a brat, but, like, in my favorite way, you know what I mean? So I'll go with Lilo.
Agree. I will take Stitch, but I love a brat, too. Definitely. Next one is the triple Snow White, Cinderella, or Aurora.
Like, literally when they were just making movies about, like, women with no personality, like, cannot say a discernible thing about any of these protagonists other than that, two of them fall asleep and one of them does chores. I think they all do chores. I'm trying to think about, like, which of those movies I liked the best, and I think Cinderella, with all of its iterations and franchises, I liked the sequels a lot as a kid, the direct-to-DVD sequels, Cinderella 2, I was a big fan of, and then I also really like A Cinderella Story and the Selena Gomez, like, just all the different Cinderella remakes they've done throughout time, I think just definitely had an impact on me as a kid, so I'll pick Cinderella for that reason, but just three boring bitches.
That's facts, they are super boring. I think I'm gonna pick Sleeping Beauty, though, because she gets to sleep. Ideal. Perfect. I want what she has. But also, I really remember liking, as a kid, the big fight scene with... It's Maleficent that, like, turns into the dragon, right? And all the thorns. I thought that was so
and, like,
fucking
Prince
sick.
Philip, Yeah,
I thought that was really cool, which, mind you, I'm pretty certain that, as a kid... I was Prince Philip for Halloween, and then somehow no one knew I was gay until I was, like, 15. I was, like, Prince Philip, like, Obi-Wan Kenobi, a ninja, like, all of it.
Oh my god. That's like, I thought you were gonna say that you liked the fight between the two fairies when they were turning the cake pink.
Oh, I do like that one, too.
That was my favorite fight, when they were turning the cake and the dress back and forth. Oh.
Yeah. But no, I always thought Maleficent was, like, a super cool villain in that. She's a dragon. Like, that's hard as fuck.
You definitely make a good argument, but I'm gonna take Cinderella because same thing. I think I like that movie the best of all three. But quick Dara Halloween story. So this is Dara's childhood. Everyone else was like, yeah, I want to be, a Disney princess or whatever. Dara would be like, I would like to be the one-horned, one-eyed, flying purple people eater.
That's such a good costume, though.
And we were like, all right, let's run with it.
That's so fun.
Will say, I put you through a lot of grief, Jen, because we would be, like, on our way to somebody's birthday party, and Jen would, like, pull up one of those, like, store-bought baggy costumes, and I'd be like, I'm not fucking wearing that shit! Do I look like some kind of fucking pussy who's gonna wear the same costume as someone else? And Jen would be like, please, we just have to make it to Girl Scouts in time. And I'd be like, no, I'm making my own costume from scratch right now. No, I was such a bitch about it every year. And if anyone was the same thing as me, it was a meltdown.
Then we had to leave the Girl Scout party immediately.
I'm sure there was hell to pay. That's so funny.
Next one. Alice from Alice in Wonderland or Wendy from Peter Pan?
I'm gonna say Alice. I certainly had an Alice in Wonderland phase growing up. If you were kind of like an alt weird girl in like 4th to 6th grade during the time that the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland came out, I think you really had like a little Alice in Wonderland phase for sure, which I certainly did. I like did a book report on Lewis Carroll, and Jen had to like pre-screen the book I read because it was like for adults, and you had to like block off the chapters that were like about child molestation. You're like, don't read chapters 6 through 14, Dara, just the beginning and the end. The stuff about,
oh my god.
Yeah, like bad. Like it was all about like sex and drugs, and Jen was like, okay, you can read some of this, but not all of it. But yeah, I was an Alice in Wonderland bitch growing up for sure, so I'll say Alice.
Yeah, I'm also gonna have to go with Alice in Wonderland. I feel like, yeah, like you said, I feel like it was just one of those things around the time that we grew up. Those movies were good movies, so.
They were. I'm gonna go with Alice also. Yeah. The reason I put these two together, Alice and Wendy, voiced by the same actress.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I believe that.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Interesting.
Next one, Pongo or Perdita? I just wanted to say their names. That's the two Dalmatians from 101 Dalmatians.
Oh.
Well, there's 101 of them. Shouldn't they all have names?
A bunch of the little...
We have to pick through every single one.
Actually, only 6 of the little ones have names, but those are the two Dalmatian parents, Pongo and Perdita.
Oh, I like Pongo.
Yeah, that's a better name, Pongo.
See, I like Pongo better because he's like kind of smarter in the movie, but I like the name Perdita, so I'm gonna go Perdita. Next is Beauty or the Beast.
I gotta go with the Beast. He's just going through it. He's got silverware that talks. He's a little mysterious. He's a little mystical. He's a little grumpy, but he's open to having a good time. Whereas Belle is just not always doing it for me. She's like, I love to read. I'm so upset. Like, no.
Yeah, Belle kind of pisses me off, so just for that reason, I'll go with the Beast.
You don't think she's like a strong princess? Like, in a good way? No?
Because she knows how to read? No?
I don't know. Strong, independent
Guess she knows
woman.
how to read. Milo.
All right.
Did Milo travel to France to teach Belle how to read? Yes.
She's like, I don't know. Yeah, it just never read that way for me. Like, I guess, but like that's never how like she came off when I watched it. I was just like, you're kind of annoying. I get why he took you.
Also, I like a brunette princess.
Do you feel represented?
I do.
Do you feel seen?
I do. So I'm gonna say Belle. Next one is Jasmine or Meg from Hercules.
Ooh, Megara from Hercules. This is another.
Meg.
If we're talking about like early Disney sexual awakening movies, why was she so hot? Like, why was she so hot? And she was like mean too. She's like
right.
Hot.
That's like in the same way that like Helga's hot in this movie.
Yeah.
You're like I'd be like a little scared of you, so like I'm kind of turned on. Yeah, no, easily her.
Yeah, same. I'm gonna go with Meg. Next one, Chicken Little or Wreck-It Ralph?
I've actually never seen Wreck-It Ralph or any of its properties. I think I just was like not the right age to like. I'm in the age now where it's like I'll watch new Disney movies because I'm like old and have no life and like find comfort in like child media. But I think I was like probably like 15 when Wreck-It Ralph came out, so it just like kind of passed over me. But I do remember seeing Chicken Little in the theaters, so I have that to say about it. Who voiced Chicken Little? Was it also somebody pretty iconic?
Yeah, Zach Braff.
Yeah! Why are they always getting the most iconic men to voice these Disney things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've also not seen Wreck-It Ralph, so I'll go with Chicken Little.
Yeah, I'll go with Chicken Little too. They also had like Bare Naked Ladies as the predominant like soundtrack.
Yep.
Yeah. Next is Shakira singing as the gazelle in Zootopia, or Donny Osmond singing as Li Shang in Mulan.
No contest. First of all, fuck that propaganda ass fucking. I'm gonna play this off as a racial lesson for everyone to learn, but really we're just gonna say that cops are the good guys fucking ass movie. No, Zootopia is a no from me on these books, and there's nothing but yeses for all of Mulan. All the way through. Not pretty recently, it was actually quite a while ago, somebody was like, oh hey Dara, do you know the name of Mulan's boyfriend? And I was like, yeah, Li Shang. And they're like, we knew you'd know. They're like, you seem like the kind of bitch who knows Mulan's boyfriend's name.
Yeah. No, I'm for sure gonna go with Donny Osmond. That is just, it's too iconic.
Yeah, same. I love the Shakira song from Zootopia, but I will say Donny Osmond. Donny Osmond was big when I was growing up, like as a pop star.
I grew up listening to Donny Osmond because my mom grew up listening to Donny Osmond, and she adores him.
Jean has amazing taste.
Doesn't he have like 47 kids?
Yeah, they're Mormon, right?
Isn't that... Next one is Julie Andrews as Mary Poppins or Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins.
Oh, this is like a
Julie Andrews. Julie Andrews.
As much as we love Emily Blunt on this podcast, obviously it's Julie Andrews. R.I.P. to her fucking vocal cords. I could not think of a worse tragedy to happen. That's my 9/11. Sorry. Like, respectfully, is Julie Andrews, like, waking up from vocal surgery without her voice?
Oh, I thought you guys might go for Emily because you really like Emily Blunt, but same, I'll go with the OG. Last one, and it's a triple. I feel like I know where Emily's going with this earlier. Scar, Maleficent, or Cruella de Vil?
This is really good villains. I'm gonna base this off of the song that they get solely, and I'm gonna say Cruella, because I think that her musical number is superior. And also I love the drama. I haven't seen the new Cruella with Emma Stone. I just, haven't gotten around to it, and I just don't really, it hasn't really been on my radar. If anyone out there has seen it and has any thoughts on it, DM me and let me know if I should watch it or not. But, because I remember it was, $30 when it first came out to watch, and I was like, fuck no, and then I just, haven't gone back to it since. But I'll say Cruella, because pretty fire song, and we love, a fashion icon moment, so...
Yeah, as much as I fuck with Maleficent, I'm gonna have to go with Cruella on this one as well. It's the drama of it. I love how big of a personality she has. I feel like Maleficent doesn't really have that, and that's kind of why they, fleshed her out with, the Angelina Jolie movies and everything like that. But, Cruella in those movies comes right across clean, so I'll give it to her.
Same, I'm gonna say Cruella.
Also, Glenn Close.
Yeah.
Glenn Close as Cruella, that is it for me.
I think the new Cruella won the Oscar for costume design. Yeah,
it did.
So that is
Makes
it
sense.
for Disney Chocolate or Vanilla. I've been waiting a long time to talk Disney.
That was good.
Thank you, as always, Jen. That was spectacular.
Thank you, guys. All right, I love you. Have an awesome week.
Bye.
Oh yeah, what was that about them all being able to speak different languages? So confusing.
Right, well, that clearly was just, a way for them to transition to oh, they all speak this made-up foreign language. Oh, but actually, no, they all speak every language, including English, for the sake of our viewing
But
pleasure.
they can't read.
But they can't read anything.
Nothing at all.
They can't read their own language. They can't, but they can speak French, English, German, Italian.
Mm-hmm.
Where did they learn this? They got Duolingo down there?
Yeah, that's exactly. The Duolingo owl is an Atlantean. That's where he came from.
That's why they're using so much of that battery life force. It's that everybody is just constantly doing Duolingo.
It was glowing green. He's probably up there.
He is the life force.
Oh, man.
Everyone's like, damn, if I don't do my vocab today, he's gonna get me.
I'm about to lose my streak.
Yeah, that was clearly just, like, a weird plot hole thing for them to be like, and they speak English.
Yeah,
Isn't it
that's so
great?
convenient.
Which is, like, stupid.
Yeah, no, whatever. But they all looked hot. They made sure every Atlantean sexy.
Hot. So
absolutely
hot.
jacked. The gorgeous white hair. What else could I want?
And, like, the tattoos. The
the
facial
glowing tattoos.
Yes.
Like, Jesus Christ. No fucking
wasn't
wonder I
really-
have a type. It's this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
This
If you have,
movie,
like,
it's
shining white hair and, like, tons of tattoos, you know where to find me.
and, like, kind of uneven bangs.
Exactly.
Like, some kind of, like, DIY, but, like, I did them
Yeah.
choppy on purpose kind of bangs. That haircut really had me thinking. I was like, could I pull that off? And I was like, no. Because she kind of has, like, it, like, ends, but then there's, like, longer hair underneath it. It's, like, it's very cool. It's very
one of those
cool.
things, like, if you show up to your freaking hair salon with that picture, and you get that,
That's not what you're
no,
getting.
No chance. But that's like those girls that, like, cut their hair themselves and don't give a fuck. And I'm like, why does it look so good? And why do you look so hot?
Right.
I was gonna say,
Meanwhile, I struggle to cut my own bangs, and I'm like, I cut my own bangs. I cry every time.
it's just every other, like, lesbian on TikTok who cuts their hair.
This movie, like, pretty notably does not have any musical numbers in it. Like, obviously there is a score, but there's no breaks for people to sing about what's happening, which I think it's a nice little break from the typical. I recently watched Anastasia the other day because I was just, like, in the mood, and that was one that every time that they did, like, a song break, I was like, this isn't really necessary. Like, very rarely in that movie did I feel like the singing was warranted. Like, Mulan, every time they sang, I'm like, yes, yes, this is perfect. But there are just some movies that it's like the singing just, like, doesn't always, like, do it for me. And I'm glad that they kind of, like, forewent the singing, but let's say in an alternate universe where they do add musical numbers to this, where would you put them? Where would you sprinkle in? I think I would definitely do one after the 157 people have perished, and they light that one candle. They light one candle and put it in a little boat and drift it. I think I would do, like, a really, like, a nice somber ballad there called, like, A Single Candle for 157 Lost or something.
Obviously, when Milo and Kita are, like, adventuring around Atlantis and, like, hitting
that
it
could
off.
be very, like, Tarzan.
Yeah. Yep.
That could, like that montage in Tarzan. I can very much see that. Also, when they're, like, swimming and he's, like, reading the thing while they're, like, underwater. That's the most unrealistic thing about this movie was how fucking long that they held their breath for and that his glasses stayed on. No
chance in France. Absolutely not.
No.
I think the father needs.
But I think that could have been
the father needs a really, like, powerful number sort of thing. Not, like, when he's dying or something, but when Kita's, like, sitting there and she's, like,
first introduced.
And he's like, fuck
like,
no.
when they
he's
first
like, we're
get
gonna
there.
kill him.
Yeah, he could have a gatekeep
He can have a gatekeep number.
And I would definitely want backup dancers.
He needs, like, a gatekeep number and then, like, a second number, like, when he's dying. You know what I mean? Like, another, like, really somber, like, nice one kind of thing.
I think definitely there would also need to be a musical number where each person in the crew, like, introduces themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like, with a very, like, Hamilton kind of, like, I'm gonna sing my name and then tell you my profession. Like,
no,
that.
No, for sure, you're so right.
like that.
Yeah. That's, like, I can see it. It's already built in my head. I don't know, there's a handful of other play. Probably, Milo needs one, like, at the beginning, like, you know, in Hercules, how he has that one where he's like, I'm a scrawny little wimp and no one believes in me. What's that song? Oh, it's so good. Yeah,
I Can Go the Distance?
Milo needs an I Can Go the Distance.
Emily, do you not remember? They sang that at our high school graduation.
No, holy shit.
The chorus fully sang that, and I was like, why are they singing that song from Hercules right now? And I'm like, I guess it, like, metaphorically.
To be fair, like, I don't think I would have put... Honestly, that's, like, so on brand for them. Like, I'm not mad. That's a good song.
Yeah.
Oh my god. No, I didn't remember that at all. That's... Of course they did. Of course. Milo needs to, like, sing about his, like, dead grandfather kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. Oh, in the very beginning, like, I'm getting rejected, and I'm letting my grandpa down. All he ever wanted was for me to continue the legacy.
You know who I want to have a number? The kooky billionaire. Like, something really weird. Something really weird and zesty where he's, like, sitting there and he's like, I want you to go on this trip with me, be my little bitch boy, find Atlantis. Dude, he could have, like, the wackiest shit.
Something with a lot of glockenspiel.
Yes.
I'm feeling. Like a heavy percussive number in his little library with his
He's
fish
like bouncing
tanks.
Around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want Helga to sing, but I don't think she would, so.
No. She would just sultrily, like, sing. Like, she would just say. Like, she would just say words, and it would just be in rhythm.
Which that'd be hot. I'd be fine with that. Even
when she's, like, turning against the civilization and choosing to do genocide, I'm like, no, don't, you're so sexy.
Don't kill millions of people.
Oh god, you're so hot. But I'm like, Milo, here's another, Milo's a fraud. Milo's a fake. And he's a scholar of history. He's a historical buff. He doesn't know the word genocide. No. When he's like, you're really going to kill all these people and abandon them and leave them to die? I'm like, just say the G word.
Come on.
Say you're gonna genocide these people.
Come on, Milo. It's on the tip of your tongue. I believe. I was gonna say, you know how to read. Yeah. You know how to
say. You're the only one here who knows how to read.
Oh my goodness.
If we wanted to get
regular
into
scheduled programming. Okay. Yeah. Right, I'm with it.
Yeah.
So Fuck, Marry, Kill is very difficult for this movie.
So, yeah, who would you even say are the main three characters? Obviously, like, Keita, Milo, and then, like, who would be
Rourke?
The third even? Like, Rourke? But, like, no.
I think for us, we could do Milo, Keita, or Helga, just because that's just where our, it makes it more difficult for us. I want to give myself a challenge on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think I'm gonna marry Keita, because she's a fucking queen.
Obviously. She's
like been a battery, and she's done being a battery, and she's just gonna be the queen of this new thriving and soon-to-be literate nation. So, I would like to be... to be at her side.
She's been a battery. That's not your wife. That's a vibrator.
Like, you know you're doing a good job when your eyes start glowing blue. You're like, all right,
now we're getting somewhere.
We're getting somewhere.
Fuck. Okay, so Mary.
And then I think I'm gonna. Oh, then I'm gonna fuck Helga because I want her to check me like a linebacker with those shoulders. Then I'm gonna kill Milo because I want to break his bones with my hands, his little bird bones.
Yeah, no. He's such a fake. Obviously, I'm gonna kill Milo. While all you scrawny boys are having a renaissance, you're still not my first pick. Helga, though, I'm gonna help her out and just take the other side of that camisole down, because it clearly wants to come off, and we're gonna fuck. And yeah, Keita's the one to marry. Clearly, we're gonna rule together. Yeah, no, it'll be lovely. She seems like a blast. And then for the whole movie.
I'm gonna marry the eccentric billionaire. What's his name? Preston B. Whitmore. Because, did you see that fish tank? And he's old, so he seemed like a good time. Like, even though I'm the sugar baby, I'm waiting for him to perish so that I can inherit that money, so that I can survive through the world wars that are right on this movie's set in 1914. That's the year fucking World War I started. Wild. That makes no goddamn sense. But I'm gonna inherit his money so that I can, like, stow away and, like, just peace out for all that.
Dude, just have him build you a ship and you can just hang out underwater for...
Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. So true.
Who needs a bomb shelter when you have a sub?
I don't know, his cool fish tank and his little library. I just think it could be nice. So I'm gonna marry him. I think I'm gonna fuck the doctor.
Good call.
Because I have this fantasy where, like, Shaquille O'Neal picks me up like with one hand and palms my head like a fucking basketball and just lifts me up. And I feel like something very similar could be achieved here between me and Dr. Sweet. Whereas it's like, I could like sit on his shoulder or something. Like he's just like an enormous man and I'm just like a kind of small lady. Or he could toss me like a football.
You sound like you're like a parrot on his shoulder, just kind of sitting there, just hanging out. Uh-huh.
And then I'm gonna kill probably Rourke, I guess, yeah, because we hate a genocide.
Here's the thing, it's really tough for me to say this, but I don't think I'm gonna choose either of the beautiful women to fuck. I think I'm gonna fuck Vinny on this one.
Oh, he's wild. Also, like, what was his accent? I think he was supposed to be like a New York Italian American. Was like the... But, like, sometimes he sounded like he was from, like, the Middle East. Like, sometimes they were giving him... His accent was just, like, really inconsistent for me. But I love the bowl cut. I love the energy.
Yeah, no. So thank you,
You're
thank
right
you.
for this
Something about him. I like that he's gonna, like, have a flower shop, too. Actually, Okay, I changed my mind. I'm gonna marry Vinny. I think I'm gonna marry Vinny. He seems wholesome enough. Like, he's got that wild side, too. He contains multitudes. I want to be involved with that. I like it. And he does have a moral backbone, even though it's a little, swayed. Yeah. But so I'll marry Vinny, and I'll fuck Keita. And I'm actually gonna kill, what's his name? Mole? I'm fun with him. Like, he just seems like one of those people that would piss me off so bad, like, if I knew them in real life. So I just can't do it. I'm just gonna kill him.
Just a motherfucker he's just scrambling around.
He's way too much for me.
That was, I think what this movie really lacked for me was a silly little guy. I love in an animated movie where you get sort of like a sidekick character who's just a silly little guy. Like, in Treasure Planet, you have Morph, the little blob, right? And even a little bit, again, with Ben, the robot, like, you get just, like, a silly little guy side character who's kind of like a sidekick. There was really none of that here. Milo didn't have, like, a little animal sidekick, really. I think they were trying to do something with Mole. They were trying to make him, like, the sort of quirky comic relief of the group, but it just wasn't working for me.
It.
There was no silly little guy.
You're so right. Nothing. What was I to do?
Because that's... I just watched Anastasia. Bartok, literally one of... That's the best part of the whole movie. Yeah. Bartok the little bat.
No.
Did you watch Anastasia?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
See, that's wild! That's wild! Ugh, that was one of my faves. Bartok is Rasputin's pet bat. If you
that's fresh.
Needed to get filled in.
No,
yeah.
I dig that. With a name like that, I already like it.
Bartok.
And then what would you eat and drink with this? I said something blue. You need a blue drink.
Yeah, it's like just straight blue curacao.
Yeah, I said a blue Hawaiian.
Just something aggressively blue. Like with Hawaiian punch, use like the blue Hawaiian punch and make some sort of tiki drink with it.
Blue Hawaiian is like simple enough too. It's, what is it, blue curacao? And it's mostly liquor. I think it's blue curacao, vodka, rum, and like pineapple juice. Simple, delicious.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, perfect. And then I like some kind of fish, right?
Yeah, because it's so ocean forward.
Yeah. Like a seared tuna.
Yeah, I feel like you gotta leave the head on. Like, cook a fish and leave the head on. That's the vibe of this movie, for me.
I wanted to say lobster, but, like, I don't know, like, I feel like I didn't have, like, enough lobster dishes in mind.
Yeah.
We've said lobster roll
Or you
before.
could get sushi.
Or sushi.
Could order sushi, would be a good little pick. Yeah, any
you could
sort
do, like,
of,
a poke bowl.
like, seafood.
That'd be a good idea.
Ooh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I agree with that. A little Hawaiian punch drink and a poke bowl.
Yeah. Right?
That would be pretty fire, actually.
No.
I agree with that statement. My only thought was like, what would I be eating when I was a kid if I was watching this? And it was like Gushers.
Yep. Yeah. You know,
like a Pop-Tart, like right from
Do you
the
remember
package or
Yogos?
something. Like,
Do you remember Yogos? I loved
Yes.
those. Those were my favorite
Yes.
ones. Or like, what was it? What were they called? Like Bits or something like that? Or what are they called?
Oh. Grips.
That's what it was. Grips.
Grips. The Cheez-It ones, the little Cheez-It. Oh, that is Pica when you want to eat goldfish gravel, like the gravel inside a fish tank. Grips.
I was gonna say-
That was what fulfilled. Oh.
This is my promo for you guys watching us on YouTube, because we do post these on YouTube now. Go check this out, because Dara's eyes just lit up when I said the
Grips.
Oh my god, yeah, no, if you're like an early 2000s kid, I just know that you guys are geeked right now with us thinking about this, because that was my shit. That was exactly what I was watching.
I loved Dunkaroos.
I wasn't a terribly huge Dunkaroos kid.
I love Dunkaroos, and they've like reprised them, and I
it's different,
recently
though.
got one, and it's not that it's not good.
It's not the same.
It was not good. The little crackers originally were like graham cracker kind
Ooh.
of flavor, and now they were like cake,
Cakey.
like they were like cakey. Like
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
I remember,
I didn't like it. I'm also 23. I'm not 7,
Yeah.
so that's probably also why I didn't really like it.
I feel like everything was just like tiny little bite-sized stuff. Like, do you remember? And I can't remember what they were, but they were like these little it was like these little ice cream like balls almost, and they were covered in like what felt like a Crunch bar almost. Do you know what the fuck I'm talking about? Dibs. Same
Dibs.
thing. Grips, dibs, like, you know what I mean? Like, everything was like one syllable. Yogos, that's 2 syllables, but
Everything was for the kid on the go. Everything was for
you were going
the
to
kid
soccer
who, like,
practice.
You're like, yes, yeah, you're on your way to soccer practice in somebody else's mom's minivan, and they're like, we gotta keep this mobile. We gotta get going.
Yeah.
Everything. Did they design all snacks for kids with working
Probably.
parents when we were kids? Is that a thing?
That's why
Is that,
Lunchables existed, and what was the other one? Kid Cuisines.
Kid Cuisine. Yeah. Loved a Kid Cuisine.
The reason that everyone has microplastics in their bodies is because of Kid Cuisines.
Kid Cuisine. And I don't regret a thing.
No. Dude, that pudding was all plastic.
Oh, it was like black sludge.
Literally. And what would you follow this up with? Because I have a hard answer.
I also have one singular
strong
answer.
one? You
Well,
go.
I have actually have 2.
I had like the one that I started with, and then the one that I figured out that was way better. So what was yours?
Okay, yeah, so mine is, if you want to watch this same movie again, believe it or not, they did do a live action remake of Atlantis, and it's just fucking called Avatar.
Oh, yeah.
James Cameron's
Yep.
Avatar. It's the same
Yep.
fucking movie. A group of militarized people go into an unexplored land to frack for a substance, and then things go awry, and everyone has ulterior motives, and it's not what they seem like. Literally, it's the same movie. It's the same fucking movie. But that's not my good answer, because why would you ever
No.
watch Avatar?
You watch it to watch Sigourney Weaver's in it, right? It's Sigourney Weaver.
Maybe.
I think it's Sigourney Weaver in.
I've literally seen it once. It just didn't do anything for me. I just remember being like, "Wow, this is really a lot of CGI."
I think Sigourney Weaver's in
It's
it. Yeah, well, that's the
2012.
thing, is that she refused to even like put a cigarette between her fingers, so they CGI'd a cigarette for her when she was smoking the entire movie.
They're like, "We're CGing the rest.
Yeah.
Might as well."
But what's your good answer?
It's wild to me that they're like on the 5th one already of that. Like that they're just like planning on just rolling
yeah.
out those sequel
Yeah.
movies. So weird. So weird. But my good answer, I think, is so Atlantis, it's the ocean. They're discovering, they're doing a lot of oceanic things, and while they're down there, the thing that knocks them loose and kills all the people initially is a giant robotic sea creature. So that got me thinking about like robots and sea creatures and the ocean. So Pacific Rim
Oh, okay.
is I think you go another action movie, another hard cut, a very blue oceanic set, but the robots versus the sea monsters. You do Pacific
Very nice,
Rim.
very nice. See, in the same vein of like
Thank you.
big robots, Iron Giant was the one that came to mind.
Yes.
just because it felt like in that same sort of like pocket of movies. But
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
also in the same sort of pocket of movies, and one that I really liked as a kid, and that is still objectively pretty sexy, is Journey to the Center of the Earth, because you just have Brendan Fraser. But I just really like that movie. I had a Josh Hutcherson era. I loved that kid as a young one.
He had. Do you remember that movie Firehouse Dog?
No.
That he was in. It was like in between Bridge to Terabithia and like Journey to the Center of the Earth. It was just some like Disney Channel original movie called Firehouse Dog that he was in, that I remember watching and being like, that boy's cute.
Not a fucking clue. No, I could not tell you. Dude, he was stacking up fucking acting credits though as a child. Like,
Zathura.
Dude, he was booked and busy. And then after the Hunger Games, nothing. Hard cut.
Dead air.
Crazy. But yeah, no, I really liked that movie, and it's still in like the action adventure pocket. And it is a live action one, so
I like that. I like that
Nice.
suggestion. Iron Giant. So it's like this movie is like bisexual, like the blueprint, but then like Iron Giant is like what my taste actually is, which is Hogarth's mom, and then Dean, like the scrapyard art guy, is like Hogarth's mom, and Dean is like my reality, but then my like fantasy
it's like
is
these two.
Atlantis.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's
Makes sense.
Oh, I love the Iron Giant.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I want to
It's a
go
good
watch
one. You
now.
should.
It's so good.
And then what would you rate this movie? I'll give it like a 6.
I'll give it a 6.
Yeah, 6.
I hold it really near and dear to my childhood, but then as watching it as an adult, being like, ew, this is really white saviory and like kind of like fringely appropriative, but also just like the treatment of like native culture in this as being sort of like a gimmicky shtick kind of thing. I didn't really care for, and the whole like, we're gonna wear big tribal masks and dance around with like spears like, I don't know. It just didn't really sit right with me. It doesn't age super well, but I love the animation style. I love the fun cast of characters. I love this era of movies of like the action adventure, no musical numbers, just kind of that. Those stuck out to me in my childhood as something I really enjoyed. So yeah, I'll give it a 6. Like, I'm not gonna jump to rewatch it anytime soon.
Yeah, no, I had fun rewatching it because I didn't remember much of it, but like at the same time, it was just like meh. But yeah, no, yeah, it's all right.
Okay. And thank you all for listening, and a special thanks to anyone who commented or wrote in with your queer sexual awakening movies or media. Film, TV, like literally you can continue to comment, or we'll probably post another one, to be honest, on our story of just keep sending them to us. They're so like funny and interesting to read. I just like I get a kick out of it. And a lot of you are, saying things that we are intending to cover in these upcoming weeks, so you're always giving us great new ideas. And even if it's not queer sexual awakening, just comment us with movies or themes, stuff you want us to talk about. We love to hear from you on that front as well. And as Emily mentioned earlier, YouTube folks, go listen and subscribe on our other listening options. The link is in the description for our website, where you can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of the streaming platforms. And if you're listening, check out our YouTube. Even if you've already listened to the episode, just give us a subscribe. It would help out with, I don't know, boosting the channel and stuff like that. We're trying to provide more content for y'all, so definitely check that out if you're interested. And new merch, booty shorts.
Oh my god.
Anything for merch that y'all want to see in the future, like, give me a heads up. We go through this distributor that's actually pretty, like, you can make almost anything where you can just slap a design on, like, basically, like, if you guys were like, we really need swamp flip-flops, like, I could probably make that happen, So if you have any ideas or designs of things, you're like, oh yeah, we need a Gay Awakening Atlantis t-shirt. Like, I don't really know if Disney will come for my throat. The mouse will come legally for me with a cease and desist.
Probably.
With that one. But yeah, just ideas for merch in general. Go check it out. The newest edition is booty shorts. They're really stupid, but go take a look at them. They're really funny. And as always, thank you all so much for listening. We love and adore you, and happy fucking Pride.